Natasha, to love is to suffer. To avoid suffering, one must not love. But then one suffers from not loving. Therefore, to love is to suffer, not to love is to suffer. To suffer is to suffer. To be happy is to love. To be happy, then, is to suffer, but suffering makes one unhappy. Therefore, to be unhappy, one must love, or love to suffer, or suffer from too much happiness. I hope you're getting this down.
No wonder so many men are confused today. This is a woman explaining to another woman in a fictional setting what love is and what it means to love and what it feels to love. And you can take a lot out from that clip. I think it's really, really useful. But I'll touch on a couple points. The first one is the idea of how much like love and suffering go together. And this took me a long time to wrap my head around. How much almost negative emotion is programmed into the feminine system that lets them know that they're with a high value guy. So let me break that down a little bit. Like people think this is a modern thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, only the girls who are traumatized, only they like negative emotions and things like that. But if you look at authors like Jane Austen, who's a woman, who wrote books decades ago about women, love stories for women, not even for men, you will read in women's literature and women's romance novels how much this negative emotion is programmed in to the love story. There is no love story without the negative emotion, but it's always done in like a very like a non-asshole way. Like, oh, they thought he was an asshole because he did this, but then later on they found out he needed to do that to save his grandma, and that was just part of how it had to go. But the negative emotion, you can't take it out of love or seduction or attraction. I know pickup gets a lot of heat, but you can't deny the fact that guys hit on this thing, which is very infamous now, is known as negging, where you kind of like playfully tease a girl or take a shot at her ego. And that makes her more attracted. People hate that. They're like, no, this is disgusting, lowering a woman's self-worth just so she chases your validation. Yeah, maybe it is disgusting, but guess what? Guys have used it and it works. Everyone has a fragile ego, some more than others. And to sit there and think like, oh my gosh, that would never work on me. Or I used to have guys who would be like, oh, that only works on like broken girls. Meanwhile, if you actually understand how attraction works, it's not that, oh, some girls are attracted to this stuff, but then other girls aren't. It's like feminine nature is feminine nature. They have attraction triggers that started and have been implanted in women before you were even born. So who cares what books were written about pickup and what pickup guys decided? They just stumbled across something in human nature that is extremely effective. And everyone has a shaky ego. I do, you do, almost everyone does. And the more we're always trying to shore up our ego by the money we make or our achievements, but it's like a bottomless pit. Like you can actually never fully satisfy that. But that's a story for another day. But this was the whole thing of like a negative emotion. This is why nice guys don't get girls, because they're always trying to build rapport, build rapport, build rapport. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's so cool. I like this about you. Oh my gosh, this is so great. They never have the other side. And you don't have to be dark or manipulative about it, but you can just see from this own woman's description not only how chaotic the feminine system is. 1 second it's love, 1 second it's suffering, but sometimes it's hard to differentiate. This might be difficult to hear, but it's hard to differentiate love from suffering. So say a girl really cares about a guy and that guy goes away on a weekend away with his friends on a golf trip. Guess what? If that girl really cares about him, she's probably going to feel a lot of negative emotion. Oh my gosh, what's he doing? I hope he doesn't meet any other girl. He's such a cool guy. If some girl bumps into him, I bet she'll try to seduce him. Oh no, like, and maybe a little bit of jealousy comes up in her. Now, again, people will be like, oh, that girl's broken and she just has issues. If she really trusted him, she wouldn't care anything. To me, this is naive. To me, this is a silly way of thinking about it. Let's look at two modern examples of this that you can look at in film. So the first one is kind of a more modern day love story of Twilight. Again, written by a woman, adored by a woman all over the planet. And basically, the love story of this one girl being followed or being pursued by two guys. One's a werewolf, one's a vampire. Talk about a feminine fantasy. But basically, in the movie, the first one, they kind of get together at I can't remember if it's the beginning of the first one or the end of the second one. Her main love, the love of her life, breaks up with her, tells her he doesn't want to see her anymore and leaves her. And for like the first 15 minutes of the movie, it's just her like screaming. It's just like her in depression. There's like a scene of her like looking out the window, and it's like March, April, May, June, and like the seasons are changing, and all she's doing is like screaming and having these night terrors and like, why did he leave me? And I can't stop thinking about him and writing emails to him. The negative emotion is part of the love story. That's what makes it so good. And then when he eventually comes back, it's like, oh my God, he came back. So understand this about women. I'm not going to talk about how to evoke women's negative emotion. You can do that in a completely authentic, ethical way, just through your know and through your boundaries. That's a topic for a different day, but understand the feminine system here. I'm not telling you, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Just look at your own life and your own experience. When you've done the nice guy strategy, trying to be the nice, cool, good guy all the time, that doesn't get you anything. Now, if you look at these movies, if you look at things that pickup artists have discovered, yeah, it ain't always pretty, but neither is feminine nature. I'd rather understand women in their entirety or to the best of my ability. I don't think I'll ever fully understand them, but I have more of a picture than I did 10 or 15 years ago. And it's not in my head. I'm not thinking about this theory like, does this really work? No, I'm battle testing it out there on the streets, in the bars, in the club, working with clients. So I don't really care. I don't really care what works or what is effective. I'm not fixed to this ideology or that ideology. I'm just curious, just eternally curious what actually works. So you got the Twilight example. Another example is again from a Jane Austen book, Pride and Prejudice. You can watch the movie with Keira Knightley, and basically the first scene with like the guy that she's really into, he basically calls her low class. Like she's like hiding behind this like seating with her friend, and they've just met this guy, and he's like talking to his other friend, and he doesn't know that she's there. And he's like, oh, what do you think of that girl? And he's like, nah, she's low class. She's beneath me. So her almost first experience of this guy that she ends up falling in love with, and is this great romance and love story, is a huge negative emotion. In fact, if you watch the whole movie, I don't know, it's an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, like 70% of it is just like negative emotion. He's just like leaving her. He thinks she thinks he's a total asshole the whole time. And then like the last like 20 minutes, it like kind of changes, and they like get together, and it's like all happy ending. And I was like, there was way more negative emotion in that than there was positive emotion. And to me, again, there's something that can be learned from this. If we can just open our mind, why is that? Why is this in the feminine system? And again, how can we use this effectively so we can create win-win situations? As you saw in the clip we just played, it's like love, suffering, love is suffering, love, suffering. It's like it's almost two notes. And if you're only hitting the one note, you miss out on a whole spectrum of emotion. And it's almost like the woman doesn't even feel. One of the things I learned from a mentor says women want to feel. They want to feel positive emotion. They want to feel negative emotion. The quickest way to lose a woman is be boring. So keep that in mind. You don't have to be crazy stuff and do all this weird things going on, but knowing how to move a woman's system effectively is literally one of the most attractive things a man can do. Your boundaries and your know and valuing your attention is one of the most potent ways that you can do that. So what's been your experience with women and their negative emotions? Have you ever seen something that kind of shocked you? I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.